Welcome to Attleboro Update. Earlier this summer, an Attleboro High School staff member and student traveled abroad to educate young students. Attleboro High School junior Carlee Russell and guidance counselor Dr. Michael Janicki were two of 32 people chosen to travel to Cambodia for a 3-week trip. During their stay, they traveled to various areas of the country, staying with generous families and teaching students English. The pair were chosen in a competitive program by the Asia Pacific Educational Center. We spoke with them about their trip.
They have this grant sponsored through the State Department to bring students, faculty, and foster relationship, cultural exchange, to come to University of Hawaii, to the East-West Center for a few days, kind of meet everybody, and then travel to Cambodia for 3 weeks. Last January, we received a word that they're looking for applicants, and myself, a few other teachers, we put the word out to students, and there were a number of students from Attleboro that applied. And we all met one day after school and did a Skype interview with the director of the program, and found out about a month later that myself and Carlee were selected. So all of a sudden it kind of set in, like this isn't just an application anymore, this is real. And it was pretty exciting right from the beginning.
And when I got the email saying that I got in, I was like, oh my God, I was totally shocked. I was like, this is amazing and incredible, and it hadn't hit me yet. I was like, oh my God, I got picked, that's great. And I was like, who else got picked? And I was asking everyone, and no one else got picked. And I was like, okay, all right, I'm going alone. And then when I found out Mr. Janicki got picked, I was like, okay, somebody else from Attleboro, like, so we can have, you know, that Attleboro group all the way in Cambodia.
We landed in Siem Reap, which is a larger city in the north, which is where Angkor Wat is. But I mean, really, as soon as we landed, and as soon as the doors to the plane opened up, there's no jetway. It's the pickup truck with the stairs comes to let you off. But as soon as you land, I mean, the air, the smells, the humidity, just everything changed.
When I first got there, I was like, oh my gosh, there's so much poverty. And I just felt bad. And that was the only time I ever felt bad, because after that, once I learned more about them, I didn't feel sad ever again. Because I knew that I was like, oh, those things that I have that they don't have that I think they don't need them. They live perfectly fine lives the way that they are. And all those material goods that I think are necessary and that I think they're poor because they don't have, they don't matter.
There was the group of 30 Americans and 6 teachers. And then as soon as we got to the hotel, we met the 30 Cambodian students and teachers. And that was great right off the bat. So it was a cultural exchange, even though it was in their country. It was a cultural exchange for them. And for many of them, this was the furthest they had ever been away from home.
The homestay, that was definitely my favorite part about the whole trip. I got picked to be in Persat. There was 3 groups. And there were 12 other American students who went with us and 12 other Cambodian students. And we got lucky because our Cambodian students spoke the best English, at least I think, out of all of them. They were right on it, they nailed it. But Persat was also the most rural of the 3. And so when we got there, it was like a whole big adventure getting there. Like our bus broke down, and there was like a big gate up so we couldn't pass through. And then like the first night with my homestay family, they had all like stayed up. It was like 9 o'clock at night, and usually they eat dinner at like 5. They had all stayed up and waited to eat dinner until we got there. And it was so like exciting. I was like, okay, this whole new family, they just like threw us in there, and I was like, okay, I'm like nervous, and I got homesick. But they were so welcoming, and my family was so nice, and they just welcomed me there, and they knew I was going to be nervous and like afraid and miss home, and they were like, this is going to be your new home for the next week, and they really treated me like part of the family. We taught a lot of classes there, and that was fun teaching, because like the first part of the class we would try to teach them how to pronounce things, but I talk really fast if you can't tell, so I wasn't the best at teaching that. And then the second part of the class, we did they asked us questions, which was when it got interesting. It was cool to hear the questions that they had about like us from America, like everybody asked if I had a boyfriend because of the Justin Bieber song. And they asked like what we did for holidays and all that stuff. And it was so interesting to tell them things about America because they just wanted to know everything.
One of the things that we really focused on was visiting schools and teaching English, just going into the classroom and working with students. And that was fantastic to see. You know, students, to see the classrooms there was impressive. It was real impressive how diligent and how focused. And I don't mean focused regimented. I mean focused. Kids are riding tandem, or sometimes 3 people on a bicycle, upwards of 5 kilometers, 3 miles, to get to school on dirt roads in monsoon rains. So when I say it was impressive, the rigor and the work ethic that students showed, it was real impressive.